What's going on, everyone? Austin Reaves has been amazing for the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's only his second year, which is absolutely incredible. But he's a guy that is 25 years old, so he's older for a guy that is in his second year. And those are the kind of guys Lakers like, right? They like the guys that come in, have the experience, we're in a pristine organization, guy that can come in and make an impact immediately, doesn't need too much development, has a great understanding of the game because they've played in real ball in college or a G League affiliate or something like that for several years. Like, that's the kind of guys that they like. Austin Reaves are the kind of guys they like. High IQ, is a basketball player, right? And Austin Reaves has proven that and has shown that. And Austin Reaves is about to get paid. But I've talked about this in a previous video, right? That Austin Reaves could, depending on if he ends up getting that full $100 million offer, which there are a lot of reports that the Spurs are looking to offer him a contract. Now, if the Spurs do end up offering him 4 years, $100 million, then Austin Reaves would end up having a poison pill contract. Lakers will match. The Lakers are not going to lose Austin Reaves. Problem is that if the Lakers do that, it could end up biting them in the behind by the time year 3 and 4 come around. Because at that point, Austin Reaves will be making like 30 plus million a year. And right now, as great as he was this year, he is not a 30 million a year guy. Not even close. He's more of like a 15 million a year guy. He's really good. He's not your best player on a team. He's not your second best player on a team. He is currently your third, fourth best player on a team. And he's been very solid. He's not afraid of the moment. He's a do-everything guy. He's really good. And he should get better, right? Again, 25, he's only going to improve, only going to get better. He's still got 2 or 3 years before he reaches his prime. And maybe by the time that contract ends up hitting the back end and the bloated part, maybe he is a $30 million guy. That would be great. Problem is that there's no way of really knowing that. And with the new CBA, it kind of screws the Lakers, even after LeBron James either retires or leaves. And with that in mind, I want to pose the question, and of course, hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Before I get into it, I'm not saying that this will happen. I'm not saying that this should happen. I'm not saying anything. This is just a video where I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. I'm going to give you some points and tell me what you think. Okay? That being said, what I want to talk about is what would it take for Austin Reaves to be traded from the Lakers? What would the Lakers look at and go, okay, let's trade Austin Reaves. Now, if you were to trade him, this offseason would probably be the best, right? So let's say San Antonio really does want Austin Reaves and they want him badly. Can you work out a deal to get some pieces from San Antonio? Get some guys that you like and are interested in, and let his bloated contract be the Spurs problem, where the Spurs are going to have to pay him 30 plus million on the back end, and with the new CBA could end up damaging them. Or another team. Or maybe the Lakers end up signing Austin Reaves to that deal and, boost up his trade value, and then at the trade deadline, make a move, right? That could be something that they could do. Because again, if he doesn't become, the problem is if he reaches that contract where he's making 30 plus million a year and he's not anywhere close to that, and let's say he gets slightly better, which would be a very good player. I mean, he's already a very good player, right? Let's say he gets all-star level. Just because you're an all-star doesn't mean you're worth $30 million. So let's say he's an all-star, but he's not worth $30 million. Now he's overpaid, which now it means it's going to be very hard, if not impossible, to trade Austin Reaves at 30 to 35 million, unless a team, is willing to just take him and needs to hit the salary cap floor or something crazy like that, right? So there is an argument for the Lakers to sign him and then look for the right deal to maybe move him before that contract balloons. That doesn't mean it has to be this year. It could be next year even, but before it balloons. Now, one option is to go get the star, right? You package Austin Reaves in a deal to go get a Damian Lillard or, a Trae Young or whatever, the next disgruntled star that comes up, right? Maybe somebody comes along and that person becomes available and it's like, hey, we'll give you Austin Reaves. Maybe it's a Jaylen Brown or something like that, right? And it's like, oh, well, we could get Marcus Smart and, Jaylen Brown for Austin Reaves, for a package with Austin Reaves, the 17th pick, and, just throwing stuff out. Again, just a question, not to be taken too literal. But my point is that Austin Reaves in a trade package for a star, I don't mind that, right? So, like, for example, when Kyrie was available, Brooklyn wanted Austin Reaves, and the Lakers said no. Austin Reaves is not anywhere close to as talented as Kyrie Irving. I love Austin Reaves, but he's not no Kyrie Irving. In normal circumstances, you absolutely trade Austin Reaves to go get Kyrie Irving, right? Difference is that it's not normal circumstances. Kyrie hasn't been the guy that he was several years ago. He has a lot of question marks. He wants max money, and he hasn't really been worth max money, and all of those things. Now, there is an argument that it's better to pay Kyrie $30 million a year than it is to pay Austin Reaves $30 million a year, right? That's a real argument. I get that. I understand that. But I think the Lakers made the right choice and the right call there, right? You don't trade Austin Reaves for Kyrie Irving. Now, if Damian Lillard was to become available, there's a real conversation for that. Because Damian Lillard, he's not a locker room problem, doesn't have a big ego, he's not a guy that is going to be an issue. Yes, you would have Damian Lillard for 3-4 years, whatever. But you got to keep in mind, that's about as long as you're probably going to have Austin Reaves. And on top of that, does Austin Reaves come anywhere close to Damian Lillard in the next 3 years? Probably not, right? So if you had to trade Austin Reaves to get Dame, I wouldn't be mad if that happened. Again, it depends on the star. If it's the right star, sure, trade Austin Reaves. Because again, you got to keep in mind too, Austin Reaves is 25 years old. If Austin Reaves was like 19, I'd say maybe not, right? It also depends on, does Max Christie turn into the better? Max Christie has bigger upside than Austin Reaves. So if you could trade Austin Reaves and kind of develop Max Christie into that guy, there's an argument there for that. Again, it depends on the right type of star. I don't mind if Austin Reaves wasn't a package. Like if tomorrow a package for D'Lo, Reaves, the 17th pick and the 29th pick for Damian Lillard, I would be okay with that. I'd be like, cool. We got Dame, LeBron, AD, got Rui Hachimura, Jared Vanderbilt, and we still have our mid-level. We still have, we still have things to work with. We still have Beasley, Mo Bamba that maybe we could package and go get some other things. Like, you still have some good flexibility there. Cool. I would be okay with that, right? Or let's say they don't want D'Lo and they want, they want the expiring contracts of Beasley and Mo Bamba. Okay, cool. That's fine. Take those guys. It sucks that we lose Reaves, but we just upgraded Reaves into Damian Lillard. We still have D'Lo. We could run them both together, or we could go with maybe trying to trade D'Lo to go get some more pieces, right? There's options. There's flexibility there. The right star comes along, I'm all for trading Austin Reaves. Because, again, would you rather pay Damian Lillard $30+ million, or would you rather pay Austin Reaves $30+ million, right? Like, with the new CBA, would you rather Damian Lillard impact that, or would you rather Austin Reaves impact that? I would rather have Damian Lillard, because Damian Lillard's just the better player. I'd rather have the better player. If a player's going to end up triggering the new CBA for us, which is essentially a hard cap, if that's going to end up happening, then I'd rather it be with Damian Lillard than Austin Reaves, right? The other alternative is the Lakers go young, right? Like, could you get the number 3 pick for Austin Reaves? Could you get the 5th pick for Austin Reaves? Something like that. I'm not saying that you could, right? But like, let's say Portland was like, hey, we'll trade you the number 3 pick for Austin Reaves. We really like Austin Reaves. We want Austin Reaves. Can we get Austin Reaves? I would trade him for the third pick, because if you could get Scoot Henderson, right, that could end up being a franchise guy, literally, or a Brandon Miller or something like that, right? Like, again, he's younger, more upside. He's very likely, in many people's eyes, going to be the next big thing, or one of the next big things, right? Like, and you don't have to pay him $35 million. So you could develop him, and if he becomes a star, great. If he doesn't, and let's say he just becomes like a role guy, right? Okay, well, cool. You got another role guy, but now you have the money to go get that other star. Like that I think is a real argument as well. Or can you get like a younger, better player, right? Like, again, can you, like Jaylen Brown, like I mentioned earlier. Jaylen Brown isn't a star. He's an all-star guy. He wasn't all defensive guy or all NBA type guy, but he has a lot of question marks. But he's still a better player than Austin Reaves. So if you could trade Austin Reaves and D'Lo plus like the 17th pick or something like that for Jaylen Brown, I think you do that. I do. Again, they're like the same age, and one is already light years better and has more upside. I would rather go with that, right? I don't think trading Austin Reaves would be the worst thing in the world. I know some people think absolutely not, you keep Austin Reaves, but we all think our guy is the next Michael Jordan, right? If you ask, like, whatever, let's say Charlotte Hornets, right? Oh, PJ Washington, right? Like, what is PJ Washington? Nothing. He's basically a role guy. But if you ask Hornet fans, like, would you trade PJ Washington for Austin Reaves? They would all be like, oh, Austin Reaves is trash. PJ Washington, he's this, that, and the other. You must not watch basketball. Oh, you're a casual, you're this, that. Because they think PJ Washington is the second coming of Tim Duncan, right? Like, you see it all the time with teams and their players. Everyone thinks their player is the best player in the league, right? Their young guy is going to be the next big thing. Austin Reaves, I think, is going to be a very good player. I've said this before. I think Gordon Hayward, prime Gordon Hayward is Austin Reaves all grown up. I think Austin Reaves has the potential to hit Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward, for those that don't remember, or may not be familiar, I'm not talking about Gordon Hayward that's on Charlotte right now. I'm talking about prime, like Utah Jazz Gordon Hayward. That guy was a 25-5 guy, played solid defense, did everything, Swiss Army knife type guy, right? Perennial all-star, guy that could, just really fill up the stat sheet, was a really good guy. Wasn't the best guy on a contender, but as like your second, third best guy, you could probably win, right? That's what I think Austin Reaves could be. But as like a $30 million a year guy, I don't think so. And again, the new CBA changes everything. Now, if it wasn't for this new CBA, sure. If you paid Austin Reaves that money, who cares? You just got to pay the tax, and that's that. You still have options. You still have flexibility. Well, all of that has gone away with the new CBA. So if you're the Lakers, and again, I'm not saying you just give Austin Reaves away. I like Austin Reaves. I would love for Austin Reaves to be a Laker and retire a Laker. I like him. I do. I am very high on Austin Reaves. But when you look at the CBA, you look at the Lakers and their cap situation going forward, and you look at the team and the roster, and just you put all the pieces to the puzzle together, there's a real argument like, hey, maybe you should trade Austin Reaves in the next year or two, right? Sell him while he's high, right? What happens if he signs a $100 million a year deal and he's not able to replicate what he did last year? What if he just had a good run? We've seen guys. Chandler Parsons, ring a bell? Chandler Parsons had like a great 10-game stretch and was incredible, and then got like a $30 million a year deal and was out of the league before the contract was up. I'm not saying that's going to be Austin Reaves. I think Austin Reaves is too good to be that bad, but Like, what if he's never a 25-5 guy? What if he's just a 15-5 guy? It's not $30 million. That's, I mean, there's guys making $10 million that are doing that. Like, that's a big thing. So there's an argument for that to be made. Question is, do you do it for a star or do you do it for a young talent? Now, again, you don't just trade him just to trade him. You trade him if the right deal comes along. Again, like if you can go get Damian Lillard and Austin Reaves is the difference, you don't lose Damian Lillard on Austin Reaves. If you can go get, a Jaylen Brown, you don't lose Austin Reaves to go get a Jaylen Brown. If you could get if you could get the third pick or a top 5 pick in this year's draft, where maybe you could get like one of the Thompson twins or something like that, yeah, you don't lose that over Austin Reaves, right? It just depends. It depends on what the deal is, what's available. But if the right deal comes along, I think you look to move Austin Reaves. Because again, I really think in 3 years we're gonna be looking at and we're gonna be like, man, like the Lakers are just in like purgatory right now, and we're gonna be able to reference this video and the previous video I made and go, yeah, I said so. Now, to be fair, because if we're gonna talk about it, we gotta talk about the whole scope. Now, the CBA will be locked in, but all the new TV deals and all that stuff are supposed to kick in 2025, I believe. So it is very possible that Austin Reaves' contract may end up being value, right? Because the salary cap is supposed to just have a huge spike come 2025. And that would be right when his $30 million a year deal would be kicking in. So, if it really does, if the salary cap goes from 170 to 210 or something like that, well, now Austin Reaves $30 million doesn't look that bad. So there are a few factors that may or may not come on the horizon. The problem is, if you sign him to that long-term deal, the only thing that's guaranteed is he's going to make that money. Him improving, him getting better is not guaranteed. The salary cap going up enough to where it balances out his salary is not guaranteed. And if you could, I'm just throwing a name out there, but if you could go and get let's say Jason Tatum's a free agent, he's like, I want to go to the Lakers. Oh, I can't go to the Lakers because Austin Reaves is making $35 million. Right? Well, now you just missed out on getting Jason Tatum to pair with Anthony Davis and maybe win some championship. Get what I'm saying? It's just, or Luka, does Luka, Luka wants to come to Lakers, but he can't because you got Austin Reaves, and it's he's overpaid, so no one wants him. That's all real questions. We've seen that happen numerous times by guys that looked like they were the next sure thing, and they turned out they weren't. But anyway, again, like I said, not saying one way or another, just a fun, thought-provoking type video that I want to dive into. So let me know your thoughts and opinions, however you feel. Love to hear it. Let me know down in the